What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lieutenant Nathaniel Flint of the Landship Scorpios, and it has been a wild few months. Last year was a wild year, and this year is already looking to be a wild year. But we got a new update number 50 today, and it reminded me that it has been many months since August that I have done a Rivet Wars video at all. I did say that I would only be covering major news or like really good news and not any negative news. Well, today we're just kind of covering news, like what have been the last few months of Rivet Wars. So let's hop right in with update 46, miniatures and stats sneak peek. So we got some sneak peek at some of the miniatures. If any of you are in any of my social medias, you will have seen these already. Trying to do my best to share it around. But they showed some stat cards that are updated from the sneak peek PDFs all that time ago. I think more than a year at this point that we got to look at. So we can see that, like Commander Athena buffs fire at will. That's pretty cool. Cerberus Striker looking for the most part the same stat-wise, but we're seeing a finalization of the style of the Nemoan cards. Sergeant Cyrus here. We can see that everyone's got their bounties to reward people for destroying them. I would say that one of the biggest updates from this is that, like the Helios Air Mech does take air plugs now. It's not just any plug that you want. And with that, the Helios pilot is now an air plug itself. So this now basically relegates this pilot plug only to the mech. Which changes. In the past, we've talked about the possibility. We can see that it gives an additional air range and anti-air to the mech. It is still not super clear if the Phoenix Air Mech will also only allow an air plug, but for now, that's what we have. You can see the Titan Mech only appears to have one plug slot. But it was this kind of like consolidation of information, getting the look to look right, kind of showing us the ending of these after hopefully some testing, but definitely after our feedback on those PDFs. And that was this update, basically. The next update, update 47, was basically discussing splay marks, which we've talked about a lot. They got fixed. They were showing a lot of before and afters as to why they needed to be fixed. Mass production stuff. And the big one for this is they have a download of a lot of the rule books. So you'll be able to find Battle of Rivet Core Rulebook, Battle of Rivet Alternate Play Modes, Battle of Rivet Scenario Book, Aerial Aces expansion rulebook, and Nemoan's expansion rulebook. I have been thumbing through them when I have time, but there didn't seem to be enough new in it to really justify doing another whole delve into the finalized PDF rulebooks, especially at the time when fulfillment was so close. And I'm going to be doing that as part of Rivet Wars Reloaded, like as a tutorial thing, is doing a deep dive into the rules, going through the stuff like reaction content is all when fulfillment happens. So it didn't seem like worth my time to deep dive into these separately and just have 3, 4, 5 videos that are around an hour long of me deep diving into the rule books every single time. So decided against that for now. But these were available. They look nice, and thumbing through them, I'm liking a lot of the finalized things. I'm not noticing anything major to write home about that has been updated since our feedback on the PDFs. But I'm not sure how much core stuff really had massive calls for change. I think we kind of understood the core rules. So who knows? I have more time to go through that, so we can. We have update number 48, which was just about shipping payments. They're just trying to get people to do that. I think the window for this is passed, but definitely if you are a Rivet Wars backer who has not done your shipping or anything like that, it might be too late, but you should definitely get in contact with Steamforged Games support and try to see if there's anything you can do to finalize that. And hopefully you won't be delayed too much. They really have done everything in their power to reach out to people to get their shipping information and get their finalized order. So if you haven't done that yet, it might be too late. Update 49, again, they're still trying to get the attention of anyone who has shipping stuff, but we do see that they gave us some images. These will be outdated at this point, but you can see kind of the production. Little bits and pieces after they're printing. These are the massive bins. These are the massive printers doing mass production printing. And then we're just seeing them getting like spot checked and removed from the plastic. You see the bin full of like plastic tithes and things. And then they're all in bits ready for assembly down the line, all in bins. This was a cool little update, little behind the scenes. It doesn't appear like we will be getting much more of this, but this was a fun little update at the time. And it was update number 49. And now we get to this one. This is update 50, the latest production intel. We're going to be spending a little bit more time on this update because it is the one that came out today. And we've got some things to pour over that I think might be fun. The first thing is I'm going to go down right here. That production is complete. Assembly of your pledges has already begun and is almost finished. We hoped to have pledges on boats before Chinese New Year. Happy Lunar New Year for those who celebrate. But a few additional rounds of quality control meant we just missed the cutoff, I'm sure. We are expecting pledges to be collected from the factory in mid to late February. This means pledges will be landing with you during April and May. So a little bit of a pushback, but it's still April or May. It's still, if you squint, it's still early 2025. So knock on wood that this is the final delay. Hopefully nothing major happens in the world that would cause problems, you know. It's been a long road, telling me. But we're almost to the end. And this is true. We are almost at the end. They have a nice little picture here. We'll kind of look through it. But that's it for this update. Nice and short. They're pushing us now towards the Steamforged Discord where there is a Rivet Wars thing. But why don't we look at, they showed us a picture of all the models in the packaging. And this is what I really wanted to take time to look at today. So why don't we take it in sections, which will help the timestamps down below. So why don't we do the Nemoans first? It's the first line of images. So this is what we're looking at for the packaging. So in this tray, one, can we point out some positives? So this is an extremely designed tray. It is slim. Hopefully this will be enough protection. I think it will be more than enough. I think it'll be fine. This is the more modern way to do it versus how Cool Mini or Not did Rivet Wars back in the day, all those years ago. This is extremely streamlined. Looking at the dimensions, we can see that it's about 1, 2, 3 models, kind of bigger models deep, which is going to be a smaller box than the Eastern Front box. I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty confident saying it's going to be a smaller box than the Eastern Front box. This is a mixed bag. It doesn't really affect me as much, but for people worried about like space, of how much space these boxes will take, this is a pretty good indication. Like this is a pretty good idea that this is a better use of space. Another positive, I mean, I've tried zooming this in. This is getting a little blurrier. Although these are the Helios Air Mechs and they're kind of looking a little dull. It could be the picture, but you can tell even in the blurry that, like, look at this Nautilus tank. Absolutely gorgeous. It does look a little long, but I think that's because of the angle here. I think this is a 4x4. So this will be what the 4x4 is. It is a decently sized. We're seeing the Titan mech, and we're seeing the Phoenix Air Mech is also that big 4x4. We're looking at the inside of the Nautiloid transport. That is the trailer this pulls. That's pretty cool. And then we have the factory here with all the bits and bobs. They'll fit right in there. Look all nice. We can see that we get 4. These are the Icarus jump troops, jump infantry. We got 4 of them looking really nice. We're seeing 2 of the Minotaur mechs with their drills. Honestly, I know that the community during the Kickstarter got to do like a thing where we got to vote on what we wanted the Minotaur mech to be. So we had different stats, but also it was going to change how they were going to model it. It had to be the drills. I absolutely love the drills. Fits the whole Nemoan thing, and there's just drills on drills. It's awesome. We also see the plug for Captain Robert here. We can also see that on his flag is printed like the Nemoan crest or something. Like there's something printed on the flag. I love this. I love it so much. This is something to be excited about. This is really good. It looks really good. I'm loving the details that we can see. I would love more high-res images of what these ended up finalizing. The finalized versions of these, I do end up loving these. These are looking really good. I'm really excited about this. So next up, we have another tray. We can see there's an area for the cards. We can also see 1, 2, 3 of the Cyclops Burrowers. They're a cavalry unit. We can see 1, 2, 3 Cerberus Strikers that are a cavalry unit. We can see Professor Fogg, who is a hero, also on a little Cerberus Striker bike. Super excited to see that. The design is just really well done. Again, it's a little blurry to zoom in more than this, but you do see, like, there's an insignia here, a detail on the wheels. I'm so excited to see these. And then, of course, we have our artillery. They have 2 of the Gorgon artillery, which are the drill shots that go underground. Super cool. And again, super compact. This one looks like it has a little bit more blank space, but something tells me that it's better in the long run, that it doesn't shift in the box. This fills it up, and we got a space for the cards here. And lastly, there's a lot that we can go over here. These are all the little guys, and this is packed in here, looking great. So we can see that, let's go top to bottom. We can have the fixed drones here for Phileas Fogg. There's 3 of them. We can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the Argonauts infantry, looking great. We can see that we have the Nemoan hoplites, and we have 2 versions of their models. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of this version. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a more aggressive gun out version. Super cool to see. I love that base infantry have some variation to, again, just give a little bit more to painters who are going to be painting these minis, but also giving a little bit more while you're just playing and you have a lot of infantry out in the field. It looks great. We're seeing the 1, 2, these are the plugs for the Helios Air Mech when you're not using the hero pilot in them. They're looking really good. Got that kind of like Bioshock diving bell look to it. I love it, love it, love it. We got our hero here, Sergeant Cyrus. We have some plugs, which we'll talk about in a second. We do have the battery for the Nautiloid transport located here. We have our other two heroes. We have Sergeant Ajax. And we have Dr. Odysseus. And they are looking good. Odysseus is looking big. We can see our non-plug version of Captain Robert. And again, you can kind of make out, it gets really blurry, but you can kind of make out the flag having a little bit of something extra on it. Most likely the Nemoan symbol. I love this. I really hope that when we get into the other factions, we see the same. I really would love to see who's got the flag? I think it is General Paxton who has a flag as well for his plug. I think it's just a staff in the old game, but in all the art, it was a flag. If they chose to go that route with him as well, that would look amazing. We can also see their plug versions. So we've got the Commander Athena here. We have Dr. Odysseus. We have Commander Athena as a person, like as an infantry. We can see 1, 2 of the Gorgon turrets, the Gorgon artillery turrets for plugs. 1, 2, 3 of the Hydra Gatling gun, the Hydra turrets. And right down here, we can see 1 of the reusable mech pilot, the Helios pilot. It's a little shame that there's only 1. I kind of hope that there'd be more, but I guess if you can only use it in the Helios air mech, and there's only 2 Helios air mechs, it doesn't really make sense to do that. Now it's kind of like you got to choose which one gets the buffs. I get it. And then something to point out. So these are the default plugs for the mechs, which we got 2 of. So that means all the other ones that are using like plugs all get the generic caps. So here are the Nemoan caps. It's tough to really look at them right now, but I know that each cap is kind of designed to fit the aesthetic of the faction. And moving on, we do have the flags, the plastic flag to go in the flag bits. So this is the Nemoans. There's a lot to gush about. It looks good. We're seeing a lot of minis packed into a smaller space, which will help with storage. So the next section I want to call Battle of Rivet. But it's really going to be like the base set next section. So we will start with the 3D terrain, which is not a part of the Battle of Rivet or the core pledge. But it does look good. I'm seeing a lot of things that looks very much similar to what we've had in the past. I do want to point out that it does kind of look like there might be some more detail on the dirt of the barbed wire. So maybe there is more detail, but from what I can see from the bunkers and the strategic objectives, and the minefields here, I'm seeing generally what we got in the 3D terrain. For me, that's good. More 3D terrain. But it's really tough to tell just by these images. It's something that we're really going to need to see when we get it in our hands. But we've got the stacked up tank tracks. We got the bunkers that are probably a few deep each, and the strategic objectives that are 3D. We got the minefields here and Blight and Allied flags, which will go into the strategic objectives. You can see the holes right there. It's awesome. It's what I expect, and this meets expectations. I do like that this looks to be one tray, and it all fits neatly. That is already beating the original 3D terrain of Rivet Wars Classic. So it seems like a bonus, an improvement, even though there isn't very much to talk about here. A plus. Here is a tray from the Battle of Rivet set. So we can see that we have 1, 2, 3 versions of infantry. That's actually really cool. So we've got 3 different versions here of the base rifleman, and we have 3 versions of the Panzerfaust here. Look at that facial hair that you can kind of see. Super awesome to see. We can see that General Paxton plug. Sadly, we don't have a flag with that one, but that is fine. We didn't have a flag with the original. It's not really like we're losing something. Just with how great the Nemoans came out, I was hoping we'd gain something. But I can still tell that, like, I haven't looked at my other General Paxton in a while. I can almost tell, even with this blurry photo, the amount of detail on the hat and on his, like, jacket and his, like, I don't know, bandolier, whatever's going on down there. That looks amazing. Like, I'm really excited to do side-by-sides. And that seems to be the general impact I'm getting from the community, is a lot of people just want to do side-by-sides because these models look so good. We can see in this image, we have our... We have Colonel Martinez, who is a plug who's added. We can see here that we have the hero unit, Baron Gaston Tankin. We also have the hero unit, Major Jaeger Moldenstein. And they're here with the infantry, probably because they're smaller. We also have Sergeant Ulbroth, who's looking great. That machine gun is, one of the few units that I will use solely off vibes. Like, even if they're not the best plug, like, you just gotta have them on the field. Oh, so excited. We can see right here Lieutenant Reinberg as a plug. And we can see the new General Beckendorf in all his glory. And again, tough to tell because these are kind of blurry images. Almost looks like a lot of detail on his helmet here and on his, like, jacket vest. Looking really good. A plus. We can also see tucked away in here is the Cyclops turret and the Hacksaw turret. For this, we can see that there's space probably for maybe one of the shorter tiles, like the 1x3 tiles, I'm assuming, and then area for cards or for the 2D terrain, so bunkers and SOs would go right in here. But we don't really have another shot of the rest of it. The next shot we have is most likely from the Vanguard expansion. I can tell this because we have the Sturmrads right here. Sturmrads all the way. Love that. We can also see the 2 boss mechs. But also, we can see that they have the one of each of the additional cavalry, which was brought over from the base set in order for one of each of these additional tanks to be brought into the base set. So here are the other 2 tanks, the Vert tank and the Landskrieger, to hold you off. But this is the Monowheel Dragoon and the Rocket Cycles, just to keep things moving. And this is most likely a cutout of that Vanguard expansion. You can see that it's much smaller. So I'm assuming the Vanguard box is going to be a much smaller box. And here we have a cutout from one of the reinforcement boxes. This is from the Blight reinforcement box, obviously, where they had the flame turrets. We have the big Griffin's hammer from the heavy metal stuff. Looks like it comes with the plugs in it. So hopefully those are nice and tight in there. Not too tight, but tight enough to keep from rattling around. We can see down here General Beckendorf in his non-plug form in his little wagon. 2 of the bases that are the deployable plug bases by themselves. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these zombies, the Plague Troopers. Awesome. We can see Baron Munchen down here and his plug, of course. We can see Otto Kuhlmann as a plug unit, who's going to be good for tanks. And we have a look at Lieutenant Dora Roland, the model, looking great. Please be aware that there was a slight hiccup, which resulted in there being 2 Dora Roland slots. Jamie has already rest assured on the comments that in the actual one being sent out to us, there'll just be an empty spot here. It's better than doing a delay to fix it. And I think we can all agree that having an empty slot is a lot better than having a delay just to pop that up. So you'll have a little extra slot for maybe an extra unit or something, or maybe for these 2 plugs to put in there. Who knows? But it's not the end of the world. Lieutenant Dora Roland is looking good, and this is looking good. And of course, the last image that we have to kind of like pour over is this image of our Viking friend, Gunnar Hammerson. And he's looking great. The details on the axe. You can see the wood of the shield and stuff. Like, he's just looking great in his purple, which I do think looks better than all the alternate things. This is another one we voted on as a community. I do think the solid purple looks good and sets him apart. Purple is really good for like a neutral, because it is that between red and blue. Like, honestly, a lot worked. This is really working for me as a neutral character. And honestly, that's basically it. The only other things that I will say is we got this image at the end of all the boxes together. I'm assuming these are the QA boxes that they received. So we can see that the Battle of Rivet is pretty decent size. One of these is probably the veteran pack, I'm assuming. There isn't 2 battles of rivets, but we can see the Battle of Rivet, and then you can see this is the Vanguard box, which is much smaller, and they will go together. This is the reloaded terrain, like the 3D terrain box is very simple, but it goes with the Battle of Rivet, around roughly the same size. We can see that the Nemoan box is actually, for all that's in the Nemoan box, is about the same size as the Battle of Rivet box. So that's kind of cool. I'm sure these are much thicker boxes based on the amount of trays that we're expected to see in them, but they might not be. They've really saved a lot of space on that packaging. We can see the reinforcement boxes are more narrow and small, so 2 of them together. This will be really nice to stack or for storages to have them all next to each other. And we have aerial aces over here, which I think this is forced perspective. It looks like a bigger box. I think based on what we're looking at, it'll probably be more in line to be Battle of Rivet and Nemoan box size. And then over here we can see Gunnar Hammerson in a little unmarked box right there. So, I mean, this is a nice size collection. It's nice to look at. A lot fewer boxes than getting some of the boxes that you got from the other set. Depending on what Kickstarter you looked at, there's a lot of different boxes and a lot of different packaging. It's that kind of thing that they were talking about during the Kickstarter, was that they really worked hard to make sure that the number of boxes was reduced to make it all simpler and quicker. And here it is. I'm assuming this is at the Steamforge Games place. These are all probably the QA boxes that they've been looking over. So that's the collection, and we're just waiting. It should be all done, should be getting assembled, and should be on its way, knock on wood, soon enough. They said should be on a boat midway through February, which means it should be set for delivery April or May. And that's basically it for now. That is the last few months of updates. And that's where we stand currently. So, there's not really a reason to drag this on any further. Do keep an eye on things. I am no longer on Twitter. You can catch me on Blusky, which I will have down below. Hopefully Steamforged Games will also be on Blusky soon. But again, they're putting everyone to the official Steamforged Games Discord, where there is a Rivet Wars channel. We also have the Rivet Wars community Discord that links all down below on where Rivet Wars is. So I wish you guys luck, and hopefully we'll be able to talk with more good news and cover it as it comes. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video, depending on how long it takes to get. Pretty soon will probably be an unboxing video. So fingers crossed, guys. I think we can all agree that the models are looking very good, and I'm very shocked that they got as many things into as few relatively small boxes as they did. So I'm very eager to get my hands on these, and I'm very thankful for the thought that went into the packaging and again, like the box sizes and stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.